Thanks for joining us for this interview spotlight from the Global SEM Conference. Hi, I'm Greg Thompson and joined by Jim Kowalski, who's a vice president with Oracle. And Jim, what division do you oversee?
So I have the business intelligence and analytics team. Often the value in a big data project is in finding answers to questions you didn't even think to ask. And so a typical project-based methodology may say, okay, we believe we need to find a way to reduce inventory by X. So then you kind of build a business case around that question. But with a lot of what you were seeing in big data, the tools that are available in the process is the answer that comes out at the other end is often a question you never even knew you should be asking in the first place. So it kind of requires a little bit of a different mindset in that, you can't always just say, oh, that's not what we budgeted for, that's not what we planned for, because with the prevalence of big data, it really forces you to sort of to ask different kinds of questions and to look at data in a different way.
And again, asking those questions, and it sounds a little bit like the people who are utilizing it in deeper ways are affecting a cultural change in their corporate structure. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it. So we have it kind of ranges, right? So a lot of large manufacturing companies are using our big data solutions to better identify why they had the warranty claims that they had, and even better to prevent them in the future. Toyota being the best case study of how they proved that it wasn't sudden acceleration, that it was the floor mats, in the famous Prius story. We have transportation companies or hospitality companies who are sort of mining a lot of data using what we call real-time decisions to target customers with different offers, so that it improves the customer's experience with the trip or the travel agency or whatever, but also increases their revenue, so a lot of non-ticket revenue. So we're seeing kind of different ways to use it. So if you tend to think of sort of business intelligence analysis historically, it's always been, hey, let's look backwards at what happened and how can we use that to lower some costs, right?
And now you're looking forward.
And now it's all very forward, and it's the term predictive analytics is a bit misused, but it's all very forward, and it's designed not just to look backward and say how can we reduce costs, but it's really impacting revenue. So a lot of companies are seeing new ways to grow revenue, new customers to target, new markets to target. Sending a flash coupon to your cell phone, or you log onto a website and being presented with an offer, not just based on a generic website, but based on who you are, what your digital footprint is, what your relationship is with that company. So a targeted, personalized offer specifically for you that makes you happier with the experience, but also is more profitable for that company.
Can you talk a little bit about the role of big data in the supply chain and how it can work and help transportation organizations
Sure.
and customers, carriers?
Yeah, I gave an example today. So if you look at one of our retail customers, for example, using what we call we have an engineered system that we call Exalytics, which is a high-powered business intelligence appliance. And it's designed to help companies crunch very, very large volumes of data and gain insight and visualization in very near real time. So this retailer has used Exalytics to gain visibility across their whole supply chain. So kind of augmenting what they have in the warehouse management space, the transportation space. This is the kind of thing that gives users the ability to have full visibility into what's going on in the warehouses, where is inventory, and at the speed of, by the time they click the mouse, by the time they let their finger up, they've already got the information.
When you're looking at the supply chain and you're looking at places where you can save money, increase revenues, and deliver to the bottom line, these types of things, big data if you harness it correctly, you can really make a difference for your organization, both as a carrier and as a shipper.
Yeah, and I think I think the key to our solutions is they're not rip and replace. They're very and augmentative to what's already out there. So most of our customers are, whether they have data in a Teradata data warehouse, whether they use Oracle eBusiness, Financials, PeopleSoft, or we have SAP customers. So there's a lot of data. I think the key is harnessing it. So with something like Exalytics, for example, it enables so I gave another example of a carrier who is really kind of going to hourly pricing. And there's a lot of variables that have to come into that. And what we've seen historically is the reason big data has grown so fast is now there's ways to harness it. So with our engineered system Exalytics, we have another system called Exadata that's really kind of an operational data store. So we've seen companies go from data centers, big buildings, down to floors down to rooms down to a closet, basically. So the computing power has grown exponentially, and the footprint it takes with these engineered systems, it's very efficient. So there's a cost takeout of just the computing systems. There's a cost takeout in the insight it gives you. So I have the ability to see what's going on in my warehouses, what's going on across my supply chain. I can collaborate with my suppliers better. And so that all falls directly to the bottom line, because we're taking what you already have and giving you insight and visibility into that, so it enhances kind of your existing business process.
What do you see is next for big data? What do you see on the horizon, next 6 months, next year, next couple of years?
Yeah, I think it's going to get more institutionalized. I think right now it's kind of a bit of a buzzword, and everybody's talking about big data, but not a lot of people are kind of really embracing it. I think if you look at retail, retail tends to be on the cutting edge of a lot of things, right? So if you think about what goes on in the retail industry now with loyalty programs, offers you get on your phone, things like that. So I think you'll see more and more organizations and industries embrace that. We're seeing a tremendous amount in the, obviously, healthcare. So the ability both on the omics side, so being able to use big data for healthcare research, but also the way healthcare provider organizations use it to make patient care more efficient and more effective, sharing that across your entire life cycle, pharmaceutical, et cetera. I think we continue to see in the financial services industry, they have so much data, both from regulatory reasons, but because they're customer focused. So I think you'll see now moving forward a bit more of an institutionalization of the big data. It's going to become more mainstream because you've got the computing power now, and we've got enough business cases out there now where people see how successful it is, and so you now have executives saying, that's what I want to do that. And when you add a great tool like Endeca that enables you to sort of very visualize it without having to have a cadre of scientists, you can put a tool like that in the hands of a regular business guy like me who can kind of point and click and say, hey, I can see the relationships. So the more that is really going to kind of mainstream it, and that where you've got the computing power and the storage power that can harness all that volume of data, but you've got an easy interface on the front end that allows regular people to gain insight from it. We predict that it's going to explode.
Well, some exciting things on the horizon, and really appreciate you joining us for this interview spotlight here at the SEM Global Supply Chain Leaders Conference.